Oh my God. I'm very proud of the prison scene, and there's that opening shot that kind of dollies to the right where she's walking down, and we tilt up and you have the moonlight streaming in. That took a long time. All of that took a long time to set up, and I'm really happy with how it came out.
Yeah, you'll definitely want to film this. A lovely standee, quite age appropriate, no doubt.
That is so sick.
Oh my God, that's awesome. This is my first time seeing this.
That was in the trailer, right?
Yeah, that will be in actual theaters for people to do this.
Will they?
So if you can, smuggle a UV light, whatever,
Yeah.
into a theater, I want to see you guys finding these too. Because this is my first time seeing it.
Tonight, we're diving into something a little bit different. Because every once in a while, the horror world produces a film that comes preloaded with expectations before a single frame even hits the screen. And with Shelby Oaks, yeah, this one had a microscope on it from day one. Not just because it's a horror movie, but because it's the featured directorial debut of one of the most watched YouTube film critics of all time, in Chris Stuckman. Whether you love him, whether you hate him, or you think his reviews are just a little bit milquetoast, you can't deny the guy's got influence. And now he's stepping into the ring with some of the filmmakers he's been critiquing for years. So let's talk about it. Let's talk hype. Let's talk pressure. Let's talk money. First things first, where in the hell did Shelby Oaks even come from? Well, back in 2022, Shelby Oaks became Kickstarter's most funded horror project ever, raising around $1.4 million from fans alone. That's insane. That's a lot of coin for a first-time horror filmmaker to get his film out there into the world. People essentially crowdsourced a YouTuber into becoming a filmmaker. And really, to Stuckman's credit, he delivered a full theatrical film for an indie budget. That's pretty impressive. Now, we got to talk also Mike Flanagan. Mike Flanagan is one of horror's most celebrated directors. I love pretty much everything that he has even put. I love Mike Flanagan. No, he didn't produce it, and no, he didn't write it, and he didn't even come in with Netflix level resources, really. What he did do was something a little bit different. Flanagan publicly supported the Kickstarter, tweeted out encouragement, and lent his name as sort of like an industry confidence booster, if you will, which honestly, that matters a lot. When the guy behind Haunting of Hill House, Dr. Sleep, says, "Hey guys, this looks cool. People are going to pay attention." It helps Stuckman validate the project with the horror community. There's no secret studio money, no shady investors, just fans, a first-time director, and a ton of hype. Now, did this film need a theatrical release? That's the real question I found after watching Shelby Oaks. That's one that's just been bugging me for a few days. I watched this Friday night, and I thought about this film for the last 4 days until I rented it. Actually, I purchased this film digitally because I wanted to watch it again. It kind of had the Skinamarink effect on me, and we'll get into that in just a little bit later. Was Shelby Oaks meant for theaters, or would it have thrived more as a Shudder or a Netflix original? Honestly, with how thin that October horror lineup was this year, the timing kind of worked, and the theaters were starving for genre films. The film itself, though, definitely feels like something that would have had a long, healthy life on digital streaming. Found footage enthusiasts, paranormal fans of his YouTube channel, YouTube native audiences, the crowd, they would have loved this. They would have latched onto this if they would have got to see it for free or with the paid service like a Shudder or a Netflix. And then at the same time, because of that, is it fair to judge this film the same as you would like a Paranormal Activity or even something like a James Wan's Aquaman, right? Two totally different films with totally different budgets. Here's where things get a little messy. It's a little unfair, I think, to callously, when reviewing a film made by someone who for years has played it extremely safe in his reviews, should we be judging this that harshly? Maybe. Maybe not. Because once you put your name, once you put your face, once you put your likeness out there, your creative work is open to just be hacked to shit by the general public. That's what happens. He should be used to that. You are no longer the critic when you make your first film. You're the one being critiqued. And the horror community, dude, they do not hold back, like at all. Let's be real. Stuckman knew this going in. He stepped into the arena willingly, and I hang my hat off to him, man. That, for one, is impressive. So what is Shelby Oaks even about? Well, the film follows Riley and Mia, and without spoiling too much of the story, it's really a sister looking for her missing sister. Now, the sister was a part of an internet group on YouTube known as the Paranormal Paranoids, and what they would do is they would go around Ohio and they would research things with the occult and paranormal happenings, and they would always get things on video. They had not that many fans. People would say it was a hoax, right? Super interesting stuff, super captivating. The first 17 minutes of this film is like a cold open. We don't get any credits. We just get kind of like Lake Mungo, Blair Witch-esque moments where we're kind of reading, narratives that way before we kind of shift to found footage, internet era horror, traditional narratives as the story shifts from the past recordings to the present day investigation. Ultimately, the mystery, though, is just what happened to the Paranormal Paranoids and what exactly was haunting them. Now, it's got a lot of things going for it. It's got folk horror, it's got demonology, it's got the ideas of maybe entities that can follow people across media, across time, shifting through different eras, videos, tapes, online stuff. Very internet age, supernatural. Excellent first half of this film. Now, what works and what doesn't work with Shelby Oaks, the sound design and the music is supposed to be coming from Mike Flanagan's team. I was thinking James Wan. Mike Flanagan's team, and that is legitimately great. The music in this film is awesome. It's really sharp, it's really cutting, it's really jarring. Other things I really dug was the YouTube-inspired found footage segments. They all feel pretty authentic, like it's something you would stumble across at 2 a.m. or, I don't even know. The atmosphere, though, it just works. I actually love the direction it tries to take with the folk horror elements. Let's talk about some things that are a little bit of a miss, and that's just some of the execution struggle. This film starts off really, really fast, and it never really slows down enough to explain everything for the viewer. This is a really quick sit. This is a popcorn flick. I think it's 79 minutes or 80 minutes. I know online it says it's longer than that, but when it stops, there's a lot of like credits and music and nothing is really happening. This thing is over before you know it, and in a way I wanted more from this film. It starts off with this kind of grounded Lake Mungo style slow burn mystery a la Blair Witch, Last Exorcism, that kind of mood. But once we switch from found footage to the real world search, I don't know if the stakes rise enough to justify the escalation. The film doesn't build enough pressure. It kind of just plateaus, but that's really my only criticism. I guess we could talk CGI. Like, is the CGI kind of rough? Is it a little bit distracting, especially in the last act? People have been complaining about, the monster or the entity at the end and showing your hand too much. That really didn't bother me too much. When I first watched it, it kind of did. On the rewatch and knowing what happens, I paid a lot more attention, and I actually got a lot more out of this film the second time. And the CGI, it really did not bother me. So I think, it's a little distracting. But speaking of the ending, my thoughts are kind of all over the place now. It's just a little bit abrupt. Like, it just runs out of time, or maybe it runs out of money, which honestly might not be that far off if it's only made for like $1.25 million. So I did really enjoy this film for the most part. Is it enough to say it's a 6, 7? I don't know. When I watched it Friday night, I think I was around a 5, but I really loved that first half, and I recommended it to a bunch of my friends. I was kind of leaning like, hey man, this is something, a couple of my friends are filmmakers, like, you could do this. I don't know if you could do this better because you wouldn't have the budget, but you would be able to like flesh out some of these ideas farther, and you might actually get more out of some of these characters. And the characters that are in here, the actresses do a damn good job. You also got Keith David. You've got the Shawshank Redemption, the actual prison from that. You got crazy good shots. You're going to enjoy this on a YouTube horror rabbit hole. If you found this film just randomly, I think most people would enjoy it because if you're fans of Lake Mungo, if you like witchy kind of movies, which I love, this might just hit you right where you itch, man. And I think, you know, I said Skinamarink earlier, and I'm not trying to say that like ironically, like it pissed me off like Skinamarink. I actually think the DNA that it shares with it is it's made on a shoestring budget, and the fact that I just could not stop thinking about this movie. Like all weekend I was thinking about this film, and I knew I wanted to review it, and I didn't want to like watch other people's reviews and get kind of influenced by it. So I was like, I'm gonna have to buy it. I'm gonna have to rent it again at least, and just see kind of where I stand, because was that intro and that first half enough to say like I like this movie or even love the movie? On the second watch, I'm gonna say yeah. I'm gonna say this might be 6, it might be a 7. I think that if you're fans of found footage and you're fans of witchy type of movies, folk horror, and you're interested in demonology, it's a little abrupt, it's a little short, but I think a lot of people that are into that are going to have a good time with this. There's not a lot of scary elements, I don't think. I was not intimidated by anything in this film. There was some cool stuff that happens. I want to like shout out the dude that comes to the girl's window every night and just like kind of taps at the glass and watches her, cracks the glass. That stuff is excellent. The actual entity that comes around later I think is pretty solid. I would have loved some more fleshed out stuff. There is an old woman that I think acts her ass off. There is a scene with candles that I think is just excellent. But yeah, I think I really like this movie. I think on the second watch, I actually enjoyed it, and I'm proud of Chris Stuckman. I mean, there's no way I could make a movie this good. I mean, he's got some killer shots. He gets a lot out of the actresses. He gets a lot out of the score. He gets a lot out of the settings, and kind of keeping it as like a small, intimate film. I think it just really works, man. That score just fucks, dude. It does such an excellent job of building dread and tension with its mood when she's in that prison and things are going wrong, and she's kind of exploring and looking at numbers and paying attention to the mystery element. It's fun. It's got this pounding, pulsating rhythm section. I thought that it was just excellent, man. I think if you're a Chris Stuckman fan, I mean, there should be a little bit of curiosity to where you're going to want to watch it. If you love found footage, internet horror, you love YouTube folklore, check this thing out. But if you're expecting a Mike Flanagan level emotional gut punch, you're going to be disappointed. It does not have that. This is a first film from a record-breaking fan-funded Kickstarter campaign. It's respectable. I think it's actually damn good, and I'm pretty interested to see what he does next, because this might be his learning experience. His second movie might be the one that really hits. Guys, thanks so much for watching. I love you very much. Cheers.